Thursday, 5th February 2026, 1:40 p.m. I'm at the Guadalupe Basilica Sanctuary Complex in Mexico City, Mexico. I've just come down the steps from the chapel on the hill, and this is the garden area.
Oye, ayer vi al doctor, al hermano de la y al que lo operaron, a todo estaba comiendo una cosa. La contadora, todo estaba sentado.
In front of me is the Poquito Chapel or Chapel of the Fountains. Dates from the end of the 18th century. The dome of this building is covered with beautiful blue and white tiles of the kind known as azulejos. Inside there is a spring, the waters of which are said to have miraculous properties. Many visitors to the basilica come here to collect water from this spring. So this is the Garden of Tepeyac, and this monument is called La Ofrenda. This is built in a modern style and represents the Virgin of Guadalupe receiving offerings from several Mexican Indians and a Spanish priest.
mejor le escribes tú. Vente. Sí. Tomando el amor de mi vida. A ver. Para darte gracias por todo lo que nos has dado, para decirte vamos a estar en el amor, porque te encontramos vivos en nuestra familia. Aleluya.
This is the site of the fourth apparition. One day he was on his way to fetch a priest, and Our Lady appeared to him again out here. He explained that he hadn't come to see her at dawn the previous day and asked her to excuse him as he was in a great hurry to get the priest for his sick uncle. The Virgin Mary told him that he had nothing to worry about as she had already cured one Bernardino. She asked him to go back to the top of the hill and gather the roses which were growing there. One day he was confused. He was so happy to think that his uncle could be cured so quickly. He was also wondering how roses could possibly be growing on top of the hill. They did not usually grow there, and anyway, it was the month of December, when no roses were to be found anywhere. When he reached the top of the hill, however, he saw dozens of beautiful red roses dripping with dew amongst the frost-covered cactus and rocks. And he can just see the chapel of the hill, on top of the hill, which is the site from where he got the roses plus the other 3 apparitions of Our Lady. Like most Indians, one Diego wore a working apron called a tilma. It's made of coarse fabric and is large enough to be used as a sort of a cloak. They filled the tilma with the sweet-smelling roses and took them back to the Virgin Mary, who took them and rearranged them with her own hands. Then she tied the lower corners of the tilma behind Juan Diego's neck, covering the roses. "My son," said Our Lady, "this is my sign for the bishop. Don't let anyone see what you have in the tilma until you are before the bishop himself. Tell him I made your uncle well again and that I myself arranged the roses like this. He will believe you, you'll see." This is the Chapel of the Fountain, which dates from the end of the 18th century. The dome of this building is covered with beautiful blue and white tiles of the kind known as azulejos. Inside there is a spring, the waters of which are said to have miraculous properties. Many visitors to the basilica come here to collect water from the spring.
Imagínate qué tiempo tienen estos hijos. Mira acá.
The fourth apparition, December 12, 1531, in front of the bishop, Zumarraga. One day unfolded his tilma, and the roses scattered themselves, and on the tilma, the image of Santa Maria of Guadalupe. The third apparition at 6 o'clock, December 12, 1531. Juan Diego finds the lady and she says to him that nothing troubles you, that nothing disturbs to you. Your uncle has been healed. What I am not here that I am your mother. Later she then sent him to cut the roses. Virgin touched them and she sent it as a requested test by the Bishop Zumarraga. The second apparition, December 10, 1531. She reveals her identity as, I'm the perfect, always Virgin Santa Maria, Mother of the true God, for whom everybody lives. And she dates him for the next day.
que yo he visto a él.
No mames. No mames, te lo pedí allá arriba, no aquí abajo. ¿Qué me aprecio? No, complejo, ¿ves? Vámonos, ¿te quedas? Hola. Camelias, dan son las camelias, ¿no? El chaval no sé cómo se llama.
This is the Indian chapel, the church built by Indian volunteers in 1531. This housed the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe until 1709. It had been clear that the original church was too small to accommodate all the pilgrims who came there, and that the building itself, having been hurriedly constructed, would not last. In 1709, the sacred image was moved to a new basilica built at the foot of the hill of Tabag. This dates from the 17th century, the chapel of the Indians, built on the spot where Juan Diego lived from 1531 until his death in 1548. he stayed there. Juan Diego must have told the story of his meetings with the Blessed Virgin many times over the pilgrims who came to meet him. Bishop Zumarraga received Juan Diego for the third time. He may have had an inkling that he was really going to see the sign that he had asked for, as in addition to the interpreter, he called in several more witnesses. Juan Diego told him what the Virgin had said. Then he untied his tilma. The beautiful roses fell to his feet around him, spreading their fragrance throughout the room. Then Juan Diego looked down at the front of his tilma and saw that the Blessed Virgin had left there a sign more beautiful and wondrous by far than the roses. There, imprinted on the coarse cloth, was an image of the Mother of our Lord in all her glory, just as he had seen her. The bishop and everyone else in the room fell to their knees. They were overcome with awe. It was obvious to them all that everything Juan Diego had said had been the truth. This is the big square, and people are watching the robotic display of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe here to Saint Juan Diego. And that's the robotic display.
También
Very gone.
regresó por la salida, diciéndole la respuesta que traía. Y la Virgen le contestó:
Bien está, hijito mío. Volverás aquí mañana para que lleves al obispo la señal que te ha pedido.
Al día siguiente, 11 de diciembre, cuando tenía que llevar su amigo alguna señal para ser creído, ya no podía, porque a su tío Juan Bernardín le había dado la enfermedad y estaba golpeado. Por la noche, le rogó que de madrugada saliera y viniera a Tlatelolco a llamar a un sacerdote. El martes 12 de diciembre, muy de madrugada, se vino Juan Diego de su casa a Tlatelolco a llamar al sacerdote. Dio la vuelta por otro lado del cerro para llegar pronto a México y que no lo detuviera la Señora del Cielo. Pero la que está mirando bien a todas partes salió a su encuentro.
¿Qué hay, hijo mío, el más pequeño? ¿A dónde vas?
Niña mía, la más pequeña de mis hijas. Señor, ojalá estés contenta. ¿Cómo has amanecido? ¿Estás bien de salud, señor y niña mía? Voy a causarte aflicción. Sabe, niña mía, que está muy mal un pobre siervo tuyo, mi tío. Le ha dado la peste y está para morir.
¿No estoy yo aquí que soy tu madre? ¿No estás bajo mi regazo? ¿No soy yo tu salud? No te aflija la enfermedad de tu tío, que no morirá ahora de ella. ¿Estás seguro de que ya sanó?
En la casa de Juan Bernardino se le apareció la Señora del Cielo, del mismo modo que se le aparecía a su sobrino Jesús. Lo sanó y le dijo:
Cuando vayas a ver al obispo, le revelarás lo que has visto y de qué manera milagrosa has sido sanado. Y bien me nombre, así como bien había de nombrarse mi bendita imagen, la siempre Virgen Santa María de Guadalupe. Que no te aflija la enfermedad de tu tío. ¿Estás seguro que ya sanó?
Cuando Juan Diego oyó estas palabras de la Señora del Cielo, se consoló mucho, quedó contento. Le rogó que cuanto antes la despachara a ver al señor obispo a llevarle alguna señal, a fin de que le creyera. La Señora del Cielo le dijo:
Sube, hijo mío el más pequeño, a la cumbre del cerrillo, allí donde me viste y te di órdenes. Hallarás que hay diferentes flores. Córtalas, júntalas, recógelas y tráelas a mi presencia.
Al punto subió Juan Diego al cerrillo, y cuando llegó a la cumbre, se asombró mucho de que hubiera tantas variadas y exquisitas cosas antes del tiempo en que se dan, porque a la sazón se encrudecía el hielo. Luego empezó a cortarlas. Estaban muy fragantes y llenas de rocío que semejaban perlas preciosas. Las juntó todas y las echó en su regazo. Bajó inmediatamente y trajo a la Señora del Cielo las diferentes rosas que fue a cortar. Así como las vio, las cogió con su mano. Ella le dijo:
Hijo mío, esta diversidad de rosas es la prueba que llevarás al obispo.
Después que la Señora del Cielo le dio su consejo, se puso en camino, ya contento y seguro de salir bien, trayendo con mucho cuidado lo que cortaba en su regazo.
Señor, hice lo que me ordenaste, que fuera decir a mi alma, la Señora del Cielo, Santa María, preciosa Madre de Dios, que pedías una señal para poder creerme. Le pedí la señal para que me creyera y al punto lo cumplió.
Desenvolvió su blanco ayate, pues tenía en su regazo las flores. Así que se esparció por el suelo, apareció la piadosa imagen de la siempre Virgen Santa María, Madre de Dios, de la manera que está y se guarda hoy en su templo del Tepeyac, que se nombra Guadalupe. El señor obispo, con lágrimas de tristeza, oró y pidió perdón de no haber puesto en obra su voluntad en su mandato. La ciudad entera se conmovió, y desde entonces vienen de todos los rincones del mundo a admirar y hacerle oración a nuestra Virgen de Guadalupe, que se apartó por la ciudad. Porque ninguna persona de este mundo pintó sus preciosa imagen.
In 1709, the sacred image was moved to a new basilica built at the foot of the hill of Tepeyac. This is a huge ornate building built in the architectural style of the times. Interior is perhaps more surprising than the exterior, offering as it does a striking contrast between white marble and gold ornamentation. Unfortunately, the basilica was built on rather loose earth. By the 1960s, it had started to sink or showing signs of tilting. It obviously constituted a danger, and the decision was taken to build a new basilica just beside the old one on the west side of the square. The architect chosen was Pedro Ramirez Vasquez, who had been the architect of the National Museum of Anthropology. This modern building in Mexico City is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful buildings of the world. This is the old basilica which is tilting.